Hey guys, thanks again for joining us for another week of OK Now Johns. Sorry for all the delays and stuff regarding my devotional. If you haven't yet, go watch yesterday's video, which was supposed to be last week's devotional over the story of Job. But this week we're going to wrap up our series and talk about none other than Jesus Christ. I'm going to keep this devotional short because I've made my point in the past few devotionals, and I just want to simply wrap up by talking about the ultimate example of how God works out his plan even through man's evil plans. Let's remind ourselves of Romans 8:28. You guys all know it. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And I think there is no better example in Scripture, or the entirety of human history for that matter, of how God uses the bad to accomplish good, how God uses the evil plans of men and women on earth to accomplish his glorious plan. We've looked at how God used the treachery of Joseph's brothers to accomplish his plan to save many people, how God used Satan's evil intentions and the greedy acts of the Sabaeans and the Chaldeans to teach us the valuable lesson of trusting God's plan. And now we look at the story of Jesus' crucifixion. Let's look at Acts chapter 22, or Acts chapter 2, verses 22 through 24. Peter stands up and he declares, he says, "Fellow Israelites, listen to this. Jesus of Nazareth was a man accredited by God to you by miracles, wonders, and signs, which God did among you through him, as you yourselves know. This man, Jesus Christ, was handed to you by God's deliberate plan and foreknowledge, and you, by the help of wicked men, put him to death by nailing him onto a cross. But God raised him from the dead, freeing him from the agony of death, because it was impossible for death to keep its hold on him." And so as we look at the story, we see how God used the betrayal of Judas, the cowardice of Pilate, the hatred of Caiaphas, the high priest, the foolishness of the Jews, and the brutality of the Romans to bring about God's glorious plan of redemption and forgiveness of sins. Here's the takeaway. If God can take the worst thing in human history, the crucifixion and sacrifice of the Son of God, and turn it into the best possible thing for all believers, our salvation, then what is there left for us to do than to trust God? I would say that there's nothing for us to do except for trust God with that in mind. I hope y'all found encouragement in this. And no matter what you're going through, I would encourage you to trust God, to pray to God, to rely on God and his good purposes and plan. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.